Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Sunday the 7th of February 2021 and we're publishing the 10th episode in our Bitcoin versus Gold and Silver series, normally published each and every Sunday. In today's episode, we look at the fact that although both gold and silver prices have fallen back a little, Bitcoin is storming ahead again and is now back over $40,000. So let's take a look. Now, before we look at Bitcoin's resurgence, just a quick summary of our previous 9 episodes, and we've listed them in the description box below. In episode 1, we explained why we launched the series and why people found Bitcoin attractive. In episode 2, we confirmed the equity market's value together with the gold market and what we class as the tradable silver market, and how Bitcoin's capitalization compared with those markets. In episode 3, we highlighted a non-exhaustive list of the disadvantages of Bitcoin, which are similar to other cryptocurrencies. In 4, we highlighted that former White House communications director and founder and co-owner of hedge fund Skybridge Capital, Anthony Scaramucci, had launched a brand new Bitcoin fund and the reasons for doing so. In 5, we looked at the intrinsic value of gold and silver compared with the intrinsic value of Bitcoin. 6, we looked at a number of YouTube and Google influencers who have used Bitcoin's rise both as clickbait and an investment opportunity. In 7, we looked at some of the commentary which followed a dramatic $11,000 fall in the price of Bitcoin, and yet support from some quarters stating this was an expected and temporary pullback. In episode 8, we discussed, with Bitcoin's price falling to as low as $28,785, we asked the question if Bitcoin has now had its day. And we also looked at how the shortage of microchips affected the ability to mine more Bitcoin, but eventually concluded that the Bitcoin rampage is still likely to continue and that it's not just a short-term fad. And then in the last episode, episode 9, which we actually published on Friday, a little late because of what's been happening in the silver market, with the Bitcoin price then hovering around $37,000, we asked the question, what was the likelihood of the Reddit Robinhood short squeeze agents targeting Bitcoin and whether they could be successful? Now today, Sunday, 14:31 GMT, we can see that the Bitcoin price stands very close to the $40,000 level. In fact, at this precise moment, it's $39,696, having actually touched $41,000 yesterday and hovering above $40,000 for quite a while. It's close to its all-time high of just shy of $42,000 achieved on the 8th of January of this year. We pointed out that when Bitcoin fell back below 30,000, we thought it was just a temporary consolidation before the next jump upwards. And that certainly appears on the face of it to be the case. We saw last week both gold and silver prices fall a little in US dollar terms, after the Reddit renegade causing the silver price to rise just above $30, and gold benefiting a little from that too, with quite extensive amounts of the physical being bought from dealers, thereby causing temporary shortages. We've seen this pullback occur. And whilst we're of the opinion that both gold and silver have very rosy prospects for the medium to longer term, perhaps that rather bullish rise may have run its course in the very short term. But of course, having said that, if more people are still scrambling after the physical, then certainly, of course, these prices will be underpinned. But on the downside, premiums will be extremely high. Now, an interesting article published yesterday by CoinDesk, who tend to specialize quite extensively on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, Kevin Reynolds authored the article entitled Bitcoin back above $40,000 as institutions lead the way. And this broadly, in summary, is what the article stated. 1. The price of Bitcoin rose above 40,000 on Saturday as the leading cryptocurrency has nearly regained all of its losses suffered since reaching an all-time high in early January. 2. Bitcoin hit $40,538 before falling back to $40,272, up 4.91% in the last 24 hours, putting it back within striking distance of the all-time high of $41,962 set on January the 8th, as we've mentioned. 3. After hitting that high watermark, Bitcoin lost nearly a third, 31.25%, of its value, and all its spectacular year-to-date gains bottoming out at 28,845 on January the 22nd. 4. After moving sideways for a week or so over the last 7 days, Bitcoin has made a string of upward moves, culminating in today's rise. Year to date, Bitcoin's gain is 36.91%, and it's up 39.72% from January the 22nd. 5. Helping to drive this latest run is fresh interest on the part of institutional money, such as Ray Dalio's Bridgewater Associates, which manages $150 billion in investors' money, and the Miller Opportunity Trust. It may also be getting a boost from MicroStrategy's World.Now Bitcoin themed conference this past week. 6. Quote, Bridgewater's piece out last week had a sensitivity analysis which showed their estimates of Bitcoin price. Should private holders of gold switch to Bitcoin? Unquote, states a weekly investor note Friday from quantitative trading firm QCP Capital. And 7. They forecasted that should 50% of capital in gold move into Bitcoin, that would result in a price of $85,000 per one Bitcoin. That's the end of that article. Now, of course, we can all say if X amount is invested from this area into another area, that will result in X price. But the key question is, what is the likelihood of that happening? Well, we mentioned in our Gold and Silver Weekly Update, published yesterday, and again we put a link below, that gold could, not necessarily will be, at a turning point. And much depends what happens to it over the next couple of weeks. If it falls below 1750 and heads down towards 1700, this could indicate a change of direction. If it manages ultimately to hit 1900 and then manages to breach that 1950 level, that could then suggest a return to the upside. So these points are quite important. And of course, it's very often, as in all forms of investment planning, it's a waiting game. Now, of course, if, as the article suggests, that funds leave gold and move into Bitcoin, then we could very well see the doubling of the Bitcoin price from today's level. And that's notwithstanding anything that the Reddit crowd might attempt to do, though we suspect that the capitalization of Bitcoin is so large it would be very difficult for the Reddit renegades to actually achieve their goal. It could still, just the very attempt, could be enough to spark a slight upward price in the cryptocurrency. Though, as we mentioned previously, we suspect that they would be better off or have better value if they chose a lesser capitalized cryptocurrency instead. Now, whilst we would not go as far as to say that whatever happens to gold, the opposite happens to Bitcoin, we are beginning to see Bitcoin, at least superficially, benefiting from funds that would, in the good old days, normally move into gold. And whether people will actually sell gold and invest those monies in Bitcoin remains to be seen. But we're relatively confident in saying that had there been no Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, then gold prices will be much higher than they are today, Can we physically prove it? No, but common sense indicates that when you look at the amount of money that has gone into Bitcoin, either gold or silver, perhaps more likely, arguably, would certainly have benefited even from 20 or 30% of that value investment. But what do you think? That's more important. Do share your thoughts. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel, not forgetting to press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos as and when they are published. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.